What's up everyone? Today I want to talk about the crafting system in Last Epoch. This system is a little bit confusing with shards, glyphs, runes, affixes, rolling tiers, prefixes, suffixes. It can get really overwhelming and it can be a little bit too confusing to even want to start. I didn't even look at crafting until I reached endgame on my first playthrough. So today I just want to go over it as simply as possible and break it down into some of the easy stuff you can start doing early on. And I'll timestamp everything in here, so if there's anything that you want to jump to, you can jump around, and hopefully it just helps you get started crafting earlier, because once you get your head around it, it's not that difficult, but the barrier to entry is quite hard because there's so much it throws at you at once. So let's start with first upgrading your gear. Okay, so let's talk about upgrading your gear. So as you're leveling, this is something I would start doing because it makes you a lot more powerful and it's really easy, and you only have to use a little bit of the crafting system and you get a lot out of it. So if you open the crafting station, so if you can either go to the anvil, or you can just press F and you open this forge window, you can craft any item below unique. So normal, yellow, blue, purple, but you can't craft uniques and you can't craft legendaries. So if you try and put a legendary or unique in, there's nothing there. So if you start with a different item, so anything under a unique, so let's say this purple item here, this offhand, if we put it in, I'll start talking about how you upgrade it. So the first thing to look at is forging potential. An item can only be crafted if it has forging potential, and when forging potential hits 0, you can no longer craft that item. So every time you craft, you're knocking down this forging potential until you can't craft it anymore. So it's not like you can have infinite crafts on an item. The next thing to talk about is how this is laid out. So all these is your prefixes and your suffixes. So when you hover over the item, you have all of the stuff at the top, and then you have the forging potential, and then underneath you have the actual stats. So you've got spell damage, fire damage, and chance to chill attackers. And that's all we see here. Spell damage, fire damage, and chance to chill attackers. There's a spare one here, so we can put more on this if we want to. And that is all you're doing. You're upgrading the individual lines on the item. So the affixes on the items is what you can upgrade and roll and change. The next thing you need to learn is the tiers. So you can see here, we've got a purple line here. This is tier 6, which means this is a very high roll of spell damage, a 93% spell damage, compared to the fire damage, which is only in tier 3. And the best way you can upgrade an item is to push that damage higher. So you push it up the tier. So say here we've got increased fire damage of 33%. If you've got this item and you wanted to make it stronger, the easiest thing you could do is turn that from tier 3 to tier 4. So let's do it. So when you go here, this is your glyphs. So you see here we have all these different glyphs, and I'll talk about them as we go along. But first one you want to use is the glyph of hope. So modifies the outcome of a craft, granting it a 25% chance to have no forging potential cost. That means there's a chance we can upgrade this fire damage without using any of the forging potential. You will get hundreds of these just from playing the game. Just play the game, do your quest, go into the monoliths at the end of the game, and you'll slowly just get more and more of these glyphs. So let's do it. So you just click the little button above it, and then that shows that you can go up. If it's maxed, you can't go any higher, so that each item has a cap, and that's at its cap, so we can't upgrade the spell damage. But we can upgrade the fire damage. So we currently have 33% increased fire damage. This will cost us 1 to 18 forging potential. So it's like it's an RNG chance. And we also have a 25% chance to have no cost. So let's upgrade it. So we press it. And you can see here, we only used 1 forging potential and we upgraded it to tier 4. So let's upgrade it again. And we've hit tier 5. So we've gone from 33% fire damage to 62 just by pressing 2 buttons. And this is why this is really good to do while leveling, because that takes no effort. If you take nothing from this video, if you close the video now, you've learned how to massively increase your damage while leveling. Okay, now, other than upgrading, another really good way to get powerful, faster, and to get your gear better is to change the affixes. So if you find a piece of gear and it looks really good, but there's something on there you don't want, you might just throw it away and go, I don't, that's no good to me. Like say this had fire damage, spell damage, and minion damage. You might go, well, I don't need minion damage. My current gear's got mana, so I'll throw it away. You can change it. So you can change one affix on a piece of gear at a time. So if you look here, we have spell damage, fire damage, and chance to chill attackers. Now let's say we don't want this. We want something else. You can roll that away into something else. Now, anything that's a prefix can be rolled into another prefix. So say you had fire damage, you could roll that into cold damage, into mana, or into whatever else is a prefix. So you could roll them into any of these prefixes. And then the suffixes can be rolled into any other suffix. So we've got chance to chill attackers. We could roll this randomly and get a resistance like void resistance, necrotic resistance. We could get ward per second, which is really good on a mage build or the build I'm playing. So let's try it. So we use the Glyph of Hope. Now let's use the Glyph of Chaos. So what the Glyph of Chaos does is it upgrades a tier. So you'll go from tier 3 to tier 4, and it will randomly change it into a different affix. So if we click the little plus and then we press upgrade, it's going to use between 1 and 18 forging potential. We'll roll it. And we went from chance to chill to chance to shock. So what we've done here, we've not only increased the tier, so we've gone from, what is it, 46% chance to chill to 96% chance to shock, which is a huge upgrade. It's like double the damage, double the chance, and it's the element that works this build better. So this build uses lightning and fire. It's a lightning and fire combo build that I'm playing. So that is a perfect roll for us. That is a huge damage boost. And if I was just looking for an offhand to upgrade to, that would be the perfect one to switch over to. So while you're leveling, rather than just being at the mercy of RNG as you level, say you find a really good sword, you can roll that to be an amazing sword. So yeah, rolling the affixes away is really helpful. Next, we can add affixes. So again, we've talked about the importance of these affixes. We can add them. So on this piece of gear, for example, it only has 3 affixes and there's a gap, and you can click the affix here and you can pick the one you want. So for example, ward per second is really good on this build. We use a lot of ward. So we can click this. We can use the Glyph of Hope for a chance to not use any forging potential, add the affix, and there we go. We have a tier 1 ward per second. As easy as that. We've just added our whole new affix to the gear with one button. And then the Glyph of Hope actually stopped us using any forging potential. So we've still got a juicy amount of forging potential left here. So we can then upgrade that ward per second to tier 2. I don't want to keep using my shards here, but you could go again up to tier 3. So we're now on 10 ward per second. So if I was going to use this, I could just keep upgrading that ward. And we've actually made a really good offhand here. And yeah, what we've gone from is a item that had high spell damage and not really anything else good on it, to high spell damage, high fire damage, high chance to shock, and we could get a decent amount of ward per second. So yeah, hopefully this helps you turn a random item into a really tailored and well-crafted item with literally just 2 things, Glyphs of Hope and Glyphs of Chaos. Okay, there is a way to create new affixes as well without having an open slot. So you can see here, this had 3 and we filled the 4th slot. Now some items, so we use this bow for an example, have all 4 slots already taken up, but they have a lot of crafting potential. So what we can do here is we can switch to the Glyph of Despair, which is the fourth glyph along. So the Glyph of Despair has a chance to seal an affix into 1 slot and make a new one. So if we take, say, the crit strike multiplier here, and we try and use the Glyph of Despair on it, we press upgrade affix, nothing happened. So we try again. Nothing happened. So then we try it on the physical damage. So we upgrade affix, and this one worked. So on our 3rd attempt, we managed to seal the bow damage. So you can see here, there's huge RNG in trying to get these things to work before you run out of forging potential. We tried to seal the crit strike multiplier to make this new affix twice, and it failed both times. It did upgrade it to tier 4 and then tier 5, which is great, but it hit the cap of this item before we created the new affix. So we had to use it on the other item, the bow damage, and that sealed first time. So that is one way to create an extra slot. And then with this slot, we would, go back to the Glyph of Hope. We would go in here, and we could create the prefix, because it's on the left side, the prefix of our choice. So I'm not a rogue, so I've no idea what a rogue would want. Bow attack speed, maybe? I don't know. Let's go bow attack speed. As long as you've got the affix shard, there you go. You've now got bow attack speed. And yeah, you can then upgrade that bow attack speed again if you want to tier 2. So, that's another way to add an affix slot, and you can do it on the suffix side as well if you want to. You can try and add an extra one there. Your limitation is RNG, because you can fail, as you saw, and your forging potential. You could easily run out of forging potential before you hit the goal that you want to achieve. Maybe you want like 5 affixes, all capped. You could run out of forging potential before that happens, because, cost 1 to 12, you could just get really unlucky and use a lot. So yeah, that's how you make extra affix slots and how to put extra stats on your gear. Now, everything we've shown here has needed shards. So all of these different upgrades need shards. So if we want to upgrade the bow attack speed, we need increased bow attack speed shards, of which I've got 16. And if you're upgrading stuff regularly as you're getting new gear, you can quickly run through them. And you know, as you're trying to upgrade different pieces, you're going to upgrade something and it's going to fail. You're going to upgrade something and you're going to run out of forging potential, and you're going to throw the item away. You're going to go, well, I tried, it didn't, it's not as good as I want it, and you're going to throw it away. So you're going to burn through these affixes quite fast. So here's how you get more. So obviously you get them from playing the game and going through the content, but another way is by destroying items. So if we ignore the glyphs for a second and we look at the runes. So down here, if we click this button here, we've got runes. There are a lot of runes, and some of them do really complicated things, and they're very like end game min-max things. But let's talk about an easy one. The rune of shattering destroys an item, creating a random number of affix shards containing its powers. So you can see here we've got chance to ignite, chance to stun, bow attack speed, and crit strike multiplier. If we use the rune of shattering and shatter this item, you can see here we got 2 bow attack speed, 4 chance to ignite, and 1 crit strike. We can do it again here. I'll throw, say, this in. This has got mana, necrotic damage, and poison resistance. We shatter it, and we got the mana. That's probably where I will wrap up a, you know, crafting made simple kind of guide, because that's pretty much everything you'll be doing on a daily basis that you'll be constantly doing to your gear to make it better. When you get to end game, like when you start getting to really min-maxing your gear, you'll be looking at Weaver's Will and trying to get those pieces turned to legendaries. You'll be going through the dungeon to unlock the legendary crafting system to get your legendary gear. You'll be rolling implicits, things like that. And that's all like end game stuff. And if you want a video on advanced crafting, if you want me to cover it in the same way as this, like slowly go through all the different end game crafting stuff, I can. But yeah, I think this is everything that, you know, you need to start doing early, and that will give you the biggest jumps in power for the littlest effort as you play the game. But yeah, I hope this has helped. I hope this has helped sort of like break you into the crafting and get you started and feel like you can start, you know, trying it with pieces of gear. Let me know in the comments if there's anything else you want to know. Let me know if you do want to see like an advanced crafting guide with all the end game systems. I'd be happy to cover that if people want to see it. And yeah, if you've got any other crafting tips, or if there's anything I've missed here, let other people know down below. This is a pretty complex system, I think. I think it's complex when you're new, and then when you get the hang of it, it's really simple. So yeah, let's help each other out. That's it. If you like this style of video, consider subscribing for more. I cover a lot of RPGs, ARPGs, MMOs, and I make guides on lots of different games. So if you like this style of guide, subscribe for more. Like the video if you like the video. Other than that, take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.